Yeah, just cue the damn music.
Ah! What's up, dude?
Hey, dude, how's it going?
Good and you, man. Now that we passed all that other me trying to do cool intro things, Red Bull.
It's like you tested 100 times before and it's fine, and then when you actually need it to work,
As always. So, dude,
yeah, man.
I suppose welcome to everyone that's back and watching us. It's really cool of you. The first few videos went better than I thought, dude. I'm really stoked about that.
Yeah, dude, and we're getting a small little following. So, like you were saying, thanks to everyone who's jumped on the bandwagon and following us on this journey that we've decided to embark on, and hopefully you're enjoying the conversations as we are actually having them.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, as everyone can tell, I mean, we don't have a usual setup, but that is for lockdown purposes. We're making a plan, so we're just making this happen.
That's right. I mean, where there's a will, there's a way, even in isolation and COVID.
Yeah, dude, so I don't know if you want to jump straight there, because I mean, that is, I suppose, logically the most obvious thing to talk about right now amongst the world. You know, I mean, we can talk, I think, more relative to how it's affecting us in our country. I mean, it's all affecting us the same, but so different geographically. So, stumbled there. But, yeah, dude, so I mean, as of today, I think we're sitting officially on 1,326 cases
Yeah, and
confirmed.
for those people around the world, we're talking South Africa specifically.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, like Italy is still, if they haven't caught up to China, the numbers that China had, they're close, and Spain is like right on their heels. So I think our hearts and our compassion definitely goes out to those people.
Yeah, and apparently America is also taking over, which is a bit scary in terms of
In
numbers.
infections or in like I hate to say it, but like mortality.
I think it's both, but I do think infections is the main one that everyone was going was a bit worried about. Yeah, dude, and apparently as of today, I think we've got 3 official deaths. Whether it's related or it's latched onto another disease or what the case is. Yeah. And I know everyone is really concerned because, I mean, it has now officially reached our townships. For people who don't know, that is our areas that are in more poverty and don't have such
Yeah.
good hygiene. So for it to spread there is just, it's
It's
easily.
also, I think it's also access to the mainstream, mainline medical resources that the more, as you could say, affluent communities have access to. The townships are, yeah, they are underprivileged. They are previously disadvantaged, and it can be a bit of a worry or a constraint for them to have the same access to those things.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, that's the cases we know of. That's what freaks me out is, I mean, there's already whispers. Obviously, we got to be like tiptoe around spreading fake news, but because we can be prosecuted for that officially.
Apparently so.
Yeah. But I mean, there's already whispers around saying that, I mean, there's been an extension in mind from the start that just didn't want to scare everyone. So they announced 21 days to start with. So I'm a bit worried about that. But it is what it is, dude. I think, like I said, I mean, we all are suffering in one way or another. And actually, that's something I wanted to, I don't know if you're keen to touch on that. Hopefully, because people want to start to get to know us. So I figured I'd ask you, like, obviously I know, but for the sake of the audience that might be listening, is, like, what do you do for a living, dude? And how is it affecting you, just briefly, as an individual?
Yeah, sure. I am in the IT security space, more on the sales slash consulting advisory side, account management. So this particular thing for our business, I think it swings and roundabouts or different sides of a coin where we were quite frantically busy leading up to the lockdowns, the isolations, etc. We had a lot of our large enterprise clients needing help with remote connectivity for all of their staff, that they were planning on having work from home. And it wasn't just the connectivity, it was more the security around that, to have thousands of people suddenly accessing their crown jewels, their key resources, and make sure that it was secure and not compromised in any way. So that kept us busy. But on the other side, from a personal sales note, it's also been a bit frustrating and a bit challenging in some things, because certain projects and opportunities that we were busy with our clients have now all been, I suppose, pushed to one side, put on pause, on hold, because it's just not a priority right now. Priority one is making sure that business can continue remotely with everybody. So it's been interesting. It's been a challenge. I must say, we've risen to the challenge quite well. Customers are very, very happy for the most part with how we're able to help them. So in a way, being in the IT sphere, I guess kind of lucky that we have the mechanisms to carry on like that. But I know there are other industries. I have friends who have their own small businesses, not even 10 to 15 people in the business, be it a workshop, garage type thing, automotive, trying to, they're dependent on the daily traffic, people bringing the cars in so they can service them, fix them, do what they need to do. Some of them have had to just shut down completely. One of my friends in particular, she's fortunate enough that she does service emergency service vehicles. Sorry, dogs are crazy. Calm down. Hey. So she's got a bit of a reprieve in that regard. I have other friends with small businesses that have had no choice. They can't import any of the electronics that they normally would. Everything's come to a grinding halt, and they're at home trying to keep things moving along and still having to pay bills. I mean, let's shift it over to your side and the industry you're in. Maybe tell people what you do and how that's affected your industry.
So I am. It's tricky, man. I'm fortunate in some ways and in some ways not. I run my own small business. I do audio editing for TV and film. And so very fortunately, I had a remote client, just for safety's sake. I won't talk about them, but they send me work remotely via the internet, right? And I'm on a project for the next month or two, give or take, which means I have income for that amount of time. But the problem I have with my industry is because I'm in what's called post-production, which happens last in the chain. All pre-production and production, for those who don't know, that's scripting, casting, filming, and all that jazz, is all
and the filming is actually people like on a set and doing their acting and interactions.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that applies to sort of everything, and all that's been put on hold. So even if we're in it for 21 days and that's it, and even if some of it's been cancelled, but even if it hasn't, let's play a good, like, best case scenario, that will be all moved out by a month or 2 or 3, which means best case scenario that I might not even have work till next year, which is a massive blow. Sure. It's a realistic thing I'm going to have to sort of look at. So I am trying to get creative. I'm trying to look into various things I can do, and hopefully maybe, because also the problem is a lot of people say, why don't you get work that was earlier down the line? But the problem is, if there's people in production and pre-production earlier, they've already allocated their work to audio guys. Right. That's not stuff I can pitch on. It's already most of the time. But I mean, like I said, we in this all together, I still have a month or two of income that is potentially coming in. I'm still working from home. I've set up a mini studio, which is doubling as our little podcast studio. Yeah, dude. So again, I try to just remind myself to be grateful that I know there's people that are definitely way, way, way worse. So, man. And then on top of it, I mean, to add injury, I mean, actually, it's your saying, to add salt to the wound, we were downgraded to junk status.
Wow.
So, I think the dollar's sitting at 18 to 1 to the rand, which is insane. I don't think it's ever in history been that crazy.
No, not to my knowledge.
Yeah. So, I mean, and again, a lot of people have a small positive outlook on it, saying that because it's so low, people will come and invest, but they're going to invest at a price. I mean, we know for those of you who don't know, it's just going to cost our country a lot more to lend money, which domino effects on us,
Yeah.
Day to day will be more expensive. If you want to take a loan from the bank, it's going to be more expensive, and that's kind of it in a nutshell. But the very basics. So
No, 100%.
people are saying it's going to take us about 3 to 5 years to get out of this like recession. That's just gotten worse. Again, that's all just speculation.
I think it's not just us specifically. I think this whole COVID thing has caused a global recession. Sorry, I don't know what's going on. I think my neighbors are drilling. That's wonderful. That's
I
wonderful.
like, hey.
Crazy. Hey, I suppose you're stuck at home. May as well do some renovations and put things up, eh? So as I was saying, it's. I think the world is going through a unprecedented type of recession, something that nobody had planned for or could have prepared for. It's yeah, I think it's going to take the world some time to recover from this, and I think more onto that. For us specifically, it is a bit compounded given the junk status,
100%, yeah.
given what that's going to do to us, and I think right now we're not feeling the full effects of that yet because, like I say, I think globally, worldwide economies have all taken a knock, a dip. No one really knows when their various markets are going to recover back to business as normal. And I think, yeah, give it some time, watch the space. When things start to normalize, that's when, for us, South Africans in particular, it may start to have like a second wave, if you like,
Yeah.
of ramifications.
And that's what frustrates me though, is that I can almost verbatim predict that once this wave of COVID is, and that's hope and hold thumbs and toes, that it is off. Like, we do get on top of it really quickly. But the problem I'm scared of is as soon as we get out, they're going to talk about junk status as though it was COVID-19's problem. And we all know our country had fundamental problems right from the start. Lack of power. We lost Warren there for 2 seconds.
I'm muted so I could shout at my dad.
No stress, dude. Yeah, so I'm just worried that that's going to be this focus on blaming COVID-19, even though we had fundamental problems right from the start. Junk Day was actually on the cards always. This was cherry on the top.
And the timing couldn't have been worse, I suppose. Or maybe it was a good thing that it happened as the world is going through this. So again, like we were saying, maybe we haven't experienced the full effects yet because of that, and maybe that's a good thing, knock on wood.
Yeah, so I guess we just got to wait and see, man.
Neither of us are economists, so
100%, yeah. And I have started looking, and as I'm sure everyone is, and it does look like companies. I do want to say on the side that Ramaphosa as a president, I'm generally a negative dude, but he's come to the party as a president more than a lot of other countries. He's done well, and this might define him. I hope for his sake it does. I hope for sake it creates a positive wave of sorting everything out after. It's like, you can do the right thing, you see.
Yeah, no, 100%. I have to agree with you there. I've had people questioning, like, why did he do like a nationwide briefing on Monday evening where he didn't actually deliver any hardcore news? And I had to like kind of remind people that that's exactly what you need at a time like this. You need someone to step up as a leader. You need someone to regularly address the masses and say, guys, this is where we're at. Well done on all the positives that you're doing. Please be aware of all these other negatives. Regular status updates, just like a CEO would do in a company when things might be a bit uncertain, just like a manager of a sports team would do at halftime, after the match. You just need to be that leader. You need to be that person that people can turn to for good news, bad news, reassurance, whatever it might be. It's just very difficult times, and I agree with you. He's stepped up in the most unusual circumstances, and any world leader right now. I mean, I empathize with the likes of the Italian Prime Minister, the Spanish leadership, even Trump right now in America. I mean, this has got to be. It's so difficult because it is the ultimate unseen enemy.
Yeah, it's literally stuff you hear about in movies. It's insane, like, and I think that's also why people took it as a joke in the beginning. People didn't take it seriously because this is literally stuff you watch on TV.
Sure.
A mutual friend, I think I might have told you, was saying to me, he's like, when they started banding together the army and deploying them and stuff, and he said, this is the kind of stuff you see in movies when they're getting ready to fight an alien and just not telling the citizens. And I just found that was so amazing. I was like, really? Maybe COVID's actually an alien.
Oh, dude, that also links into a lot of the weird conspiracy theories that are starting to crop up now, linked to movies, TV shows, people saying, that this whole kind of corona thing appeared in this series, in this episode, or this movie over here, and it's a bioengineered weapon that got out into the wild, and you know what, I don't know if anyone knows the 100% truth of the thing. All that we know is this is where we are. There's no use in crying over the spilt milk. Let's just band together and mop the milk up, I guess.
Yeah, and just do your part, man. There's so many memes around that do that one thing where it's like, for the first time in your life, you get to sit on the couch and do nothing to save the world. Don't fuck it up. And that's pretty much it,
and I think, like, on that note, and on the note that we were kind of touching on earlier, small businesses, etc. You and I, one of the main drivers for starting this was comic books and the comic industry. And I mean, that's also on a lot of the guys that we are interested in and follow. They're saying, we were born and geared for this because we stay at home and we write comics, or we stay at home and we draw comic books. But a lot of their projects are on hold. A lot of the things that these guys had that were coming out, solicited to land in stores, all on hold. One step further from that, the small comic book shops, they're suffering right now too. They don't have the foot traffic through there. They don't have turnover of stock on the shelves. And all I can say is support your local comic store where you can. A lot of them are looking at deliveries. See if you can.
Yeah, 100%. A little bit extra. I do.
Try support.
If I can just jump in there, it's like, and I'm sure it's being heard everywhere, but it's like a model like America, they're so used to online shopping, where if you look at it, South Africa, it's still, we've got our main guys that do it, but it's still relatively a new thing. Everyone's still pretty old school in the walk into the store, experience it, And I mean, I can talk to, it's our local comic shop that we go to, Cosmic Comics, is our favorite store. Yeah. And I mean, they're going full on
Shane and Karen. Woo!
Yeah, and they're going online and they're pushing that. But I mean, you can just tell, man, everyone is slowing down, struggling. I mean, but in the same breath, there is some really positive stuff coming out. I actually want to mention to you on message, but I'll do it on the podcast for the fun of it. Zoo from Jane Kirby's art. She's putting up her actual art, like her original prints, links to them once a week. She started today. And you can download it for free and you can have it printed later. So the stuff that she has at her con. So I don't know if you know, there's the, I'll try to put some stuff up for the sake of the podcast, but you got one of those prints that's got that abstract gray and pink in it.
Oh, yes, yeah.
She put up the whole set of that and you can download it for a week and then she deletes it and takes it down. Super cool, so dude. Cool. Yeah. And so I commented and she always responds that she's super cool about that. But, yeah, and she said she's gonna be putting up more, so we gotta keep an eye out for that death and dream art that maybe she'll put some of that up. Yes,
I hope so. Send me the links later.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's on Facebook, dude. On her page, she's not hiding it. She's not. Yeah, so, but I will send it to you in case.
That is amazing, and shout out to her. Such an amazing gal, an amazing stable of artists that she has, and Kirby's. What is it called? Full name Kirby's Art or Kirby's. I've gone blank.
We will put it on the screen.
Yeah, we will. We'll put links in for that because she's such an amazing girl, and we had the good fortune to meet her and interact with her when they were here at Comic-Con Africa last year. So, yeah, just give our shout-outs to them, and that's an amazing initiative too. Shout-outs to all the local comic book stores, and again, if it didn't come through, Cosmic Comics, Shane, Karen, well done, guys. Smallville Comics also just trying to push things along. Yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. we're all in this together, and I think it goes further than comic shops. Any kind of small local business that you can support in whatever way, shape, or form that you can, just try do it. If you
Yeah.
have the means, please think of those people.
Yeah, and I know it's difficult because, I mean, you don't want to spend little extra cents that you have because you don't know what the future is. But
Yeah,
I suppose if we trickle down the money to one another, somehow or another, we'll get through this. So I think that's the main thing to take from this.
yeah, man. I think so. I hope so. Sure, just just tough times, and you know what? When we get through this, I think we'll be able to say that we were the generation that survived the isolation, that survived COVID, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. That's intense, man.
Crazy, man. The T-shirts and the caps will be flying around. Get your merchandise. Now that I'm thinking about it, we need to merchandise this thing.
Yeah. Yeah, but how the hell do you do that? But anyway, I'm sure there's a way.
Some push. I beat COVID. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Nice. Trademarked, everyone. You can't
Guys,
steal it.
got to do it, man. I was in the asylum and I beat COVID. That's how.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, dude.